G'day, 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 everyone. How you going? Oh, there you go. There's a clearing of the throat as you start the video. What a wonderful thing. Hopefully you're doing really well. Um, I just wanted to jump on today and have a quick chat. It was a huge week last week, and it was a great weekend. Hopefully everybody had a wonderful Easter weekend. Um, it's April 2nd. We're into the second quarter of 2024 already. It's a pretty amazing transition into 2024. So I wanted to just do a little bit of a review. I know that many of you are watchers and listeners of the podcast, even some of the videos we do here on YouTube or even in the Hub. And I just wanted to give a thank you to everybody that follows us and gives us comments. We love doing what we do. I've got an amazing team. And we all, to a person on my team, we all really love doing what we're doing. And we particularly love it when we can see the progress being made with the people that we're working really closely with. Some of that progress, sometimes we actually get front and center, like we get on site with people. And what I did last week was I basically just jumped on and did a milk run from client to client to client to client. Over in New South Wales. And if you're not already in our hub, or if you're watching me in the hub, you'll see some of the videos. Let me see if I can share that screen with you. There we go. Hey, it worked. Technology is wonderful when it works. So here in the hub, if you're not already in our hub, the Joinery Business Hub on Facebook is our free group. You can join us. This is one of the walkthrough videos I did with an amazing client that we're working with called iSpace Solutions in Sydney. Now, iSpace Solutions is owned and operated by a gentleman by the name of Javier. Really amazing, just a kind-hearted individual. We've been working with Javier for about 5 years, and Javier has finally now moved into this wonderful new factory. So we finally had the opportunity to start setting everything up from scratch. What an amazing time. So he'd originally been working in sort of a small little factory. So this was just a quick run through of what we did or are doing. This is Leroy from Reading Furniture over in not too far from Manly. Very, very, very small operation, and he's growing into a larger operation. But this video walkthrough was a good one, showing a really small space. So going from a two-man operation in a very small space that has become extremely lean and working really well to a larger operation in a larger space, getting even bigger with big office, big space, lots of room to work with. And I had a bit of a chat also with the team at Paloma Joinery in Sydney. This is a different space again. So they've actually got a whole series of small little workshops in this one facility. And in this video here, I'm kind of walking you through the multiple spaces. This is their machine area, walking over here into their, basically their setup area where they build the cabinets and they set everything up. And down here into the area where all their board is stored. So it was really an amazing week. Some of the clients that I went and saw. So I thought I'd just share that with you. If you weren't across any of that, we're going to be producing some of the stuff that we captured last week and putting it into a really, really interesting series of case studies. So you can see some of these amazing clients that we're working with. One thing that I also had the opportunity to do last week was I talked to a joiner from the UK. And it was a fascinating conversation because this particular client or this particular person had been following us for a little while, following the Joinery Coach and following all the stuff that we do, but had an interesting impression of what he should be doing. So this gentleman was a really great craftsman, and craftsmen are kind of like artists. We can do anything to anyone, and we want to try and have that flexibility to keep doing things. But sometimes if you do that in a business model, it gets to be a little bit of a struggle. So having a non-focused approach and he was a little worried that we were going to narrow him down into doing just one thing and it was going to get really boring. But here's the reality of this situation. A lot of people in my world, in my space, in this industry, start off doing, let's say, one thing. You know, we start off doing one thing that we think is going to make us really happy. So we start doing kitchens. Let's just say we do, we're going to build kitchens, and we're going to do that forever. And we think that's going to make us really happy. That one thing and one thing only. And of course, we have this up and down in the factory, right? Because we've got supply issues, or we've got start issues. And this one thing, particularly if you're working with builders, tends to be a real problem. Or maybe you're just doing too many things. You know, there's just multiple things. So this gentleman that I was talking to can do tables and chairs, can do picture frames, can do outdoor furniture, can do kitchens, can do wardrobes, can do bookcases, can do all this stuff. And it just created this amazing problem for him because there was just too many things and he couldn't really get good at any of them. So what we find in working with clients is we do want to find one thing that gets you to where you want to go, but we might also take a company and say, maybe this thing that you were doing here that isn't quite getting you the joy and the freedom and the wealth that you want, because as this product goes up and down and up and down and up and down, you're riding that wave with that one product or those two products. So we might go down and have another look down here and say, well, what else can you do as a company? There might be closets, wardrobes. There might be a few other things that you can do. And once you start adding just a little bit more revenue down here and some of these things down here that maybe you weren't really too keen to do in the early days, but this is going to start bringing in this revenue. Now what happens is this space in here, which is the real stuff that you love doing, we can start saying no to some of the D-grade clients and start saying yes to some of the better ones. So really what we want to do is we want to help people build a business that gives you the freedom of life that you want, some wealth so that you can take some time off, a team that you know has got your back, and some future certainty that you're looking for. And you probably won't do it by just building one particular thing or trying to be all things to all people. There's somewhere in the middle that finds that sweet spot. So finding one or two extra things, sometimes it's flat pack, that is going to solidify some of the revenue. Now these extra things that you could be doing fills in the gaps, you know, these highs and these lows, these highs and these lows. You want to fill in these gaps. And we do that with this thing and this thing and, you know, this thing, these extra money-making items that'll bring revenue in. Now, what I find really interesting is a lot of people that I talk to are true craftsmen that really love working with their hands, that really love the trade, and really would probably prefer to do something that they just love doing that doesn't have anything to do with building wealth or making money. And what we find is when we start creating a business that is this well-balanced approach to things, that has an approach of, you know, doing things that you love doing enough. You know, this stuff here is what you love doing. These things down here you probably don't love doing, but you really love them because they're bringing in the money. And the business is doing them over and over and over again. What we find more and more and more, when we get a really good balanced approach to these craft-based businesses, the owner then feels the freedom to go up here to this next level and start looking for things that don't have anything to do with wealth or making money. They're just things they love doing. So over the years, we've had people that come up here and they start making, for example, we've had a client that was in a rock band, and they had a kitchen business that was up and down and up and down. We helped them find revenue for flat packing, find revenue for wardrobes. That freed the business owner up because the business started sort of operating on its own. And he went and started making sets for other bands. Who knew, right? If you're not in this space, that there's actually a market for making the sets for bands to perform on. And now that I've sort of opened my eyes up to it, I can see that if you're in a rock band and you're sort of gigging, you've probably got all these little trolleys and things that you need some help with. So he went and did that and helped his cohorts in that space. Another gentleman we worked with, who we got the business functioning really well and got it really well balanced and money was coming in, And he went off and started fitting out yachts and sailboats internally because he was a sailor and he loved helping some of his cohorts fit out their yacht with this beautiful kitchen and the interior of them. So it allows some business owners to get up here into this space where you really, really find this this beautiful spot where you really want to be in, because what's happening down here in your business is allowing you to do that. And so there's really a lot of value in finding that sweet spot in business. But if you are a craftsman and you're sort of worried about losing your mojo by narrowing your focus into one niche, just maybe stop for a second and look around and go, okay, how is it actually serving me right now, trying to be all things to all people? What generally happens when you do that is you become not good at a lot of things. But we do want you to have the ability to be good at what you love doing. And to do that, we need a stable business bringing in revenue. So it was a very interesting conversation with this gentleman from the UK, because he had a very different impression as to what we were trying to help him achieve. We're actually trying to help him achieve the things that he really wants to be doing. But to do that, we've got to create the business mechanism or the muscle of the business to free him up to actually do that first. Otherwise, the business is actually holding you back from achieving that. So it was a really fascinating conversation. And one of the things that comes out of some of these conversations is something that I was taught many, many years ago, and sometimes I have to remind myself to talk about it a little bit more. There's really two things you've got to do really well in business. You've got to leverage other people's time. So in other words, you really need a team. If you're going to invest in machinery and bricks and mortar in a factory, and then say, well, I'm going to be a single operator in that environment, in my opinion, it's a fairly wasted investment if you're looking for that to create this amazing future certainty. If you're looking for that as a hobby, such as I have down below me here, I've got this wonderful office upstairs, and below me is, underneath is this amazing little hobby shop that I've created. And quite frankly, I've invested thousands into it, but I'm not looking to it to do anything other than provide me with some enjoyment as a hobby. If I wanted to turn it into a business, I would hire someone and say, great, get on the panel saw and start cutting. So we've really got to learn how to leverage other people's time, right? Because that's how you create a business. That's how you create flow and amazing stuff going on in your business. Number one. Number two is we want to figure out how to leverage other people's money. So leverage other people's time and leverage other people's money. Leveraging other people's money is maybe you get a loan, maybe you get an overdraft, leveraging other people's money. Running supplier accounts, making sure that you're always paying them down, getting the work coming in, getting the cash flow happening, leveraging other people's money. Those are the two most important things that we can do well in business. Leverage other people's time and leverage other people's money. Because let's face it, if you had an infinite source of money right now, you wouldn't have any problems, right? You probably wouldn't be running a cabinet shop. But leveraging other people's time and money is important. Don't use yours. And if you do use yours, make sure that that is invested wisely. And the other thing that is really important, and is probably the thing that in a cabinet manufacturing facility where we make joinery and all those sorts of things, the ability to scale is a real problem, because most businesses have a high amount of friction. Right? So friction is a killer in business because it kills the ability to scale. So really what we want to be able to do is we want to find a way to remove friction and make the business scale. And by removing friction, we're actually adding automation. So those are some of the words of wisdom that I can give you guys right now. Learn how to leverage other people's time and money. And once you do that, you free yourself up, because you're now in this space where you're sort of going, okay, I'm building a business. I'm not building cabinets anymore. I'm building a business, and my product is my business that I'm proud of, and my people that work for me are proud of the product that they build. There's a very big difference between the two. You want to be proud of your business. Of course, you want to be proud of your product, but your business needs to be your product. And you do that by leveraging other people's time and money. And internally, to get the business so that it can grow, we've got to find a way to make it scalable by removing friction, by automating. It's my big takeaway from the week. some of the conversations I've had were around these types of topics. So if you're interested in learning more about any of these things that I'm talking about, we welcome you to, first of all, join us in the Hub if you're not already there. The Joinery Business Hub Facebook group. Jump on our website, joinerycoach.com, book a call with me. Listen to our podcast, the Joinery Business Podcast. You can see a theme here, right? The Joinery Business, the Joinery Business. And we're more than happy to have a quick chat, either in the Hub, or you can book a call with me and we can do that anytime you want. But feel free to jump onto our podcast. We're going into our 5th season in our podcast right now, so there's literally hundreds and hundreds of episodes that can give you some gold. All right, that's it for me. I'm signing off, having some dinner, hopefully having an amazing start to your week, and yeah, we'll chat with you soon. Cheers.